Welcome to the Youngpreneur podcast, a show for young and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start or scale their own business. Our podcast is dedicated to helping young people find a community and resources to start and grow their businesses. Hosted by Charlotte Enever and Linda Reed Enever, our passion is seeing the future of business grow.
Welcome to the Youngpreneur Society podcast. I am your host, Charlotte Enever, where we talk about running a business for youngpreneurs like yourself. My guest for today's podcast is Mitch Hills, an entrepreneur who runs a digital marketing agency in Brisbane. Thank you, Mitch, for joining me on the podcast. Would you like to give a little bit of an introduction about yourself?
My name's Mitch. I am an entrepreneur and a marketer. I'm currently the founder and CEO of Mastered Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency here in Brisbane. We help local service businesses, dentists, physios, gyms, that type of thing. I'm also building a marketing analytics software on the side, and that's what I'm currently doing.
Linking to that, because I love talking about people's journeys because that's what kind of inspired me to get into everything. So do we want to talk about your journey and like what got you here in like entrepreneuring and stuff like that?
Yeah, it started in high school when I first got a job. I think I was 15 at the time, and I had a little bit of extra cash, and I thought, hey, this is pretty exciting. How could I have more cash? And I think that's what started. I started learning about money and how to make it and stuff like that. I've always loved music, so I was learning. Actually, a friend of mine came and showed me a song that he'd mixed together. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So I got into DJing because I've always loved music. And then I was learning how to DJ, and then a friend of mine had speakers. And then we did a party one time, like a high school party. And that was good fun. And that's where the first business started because other people wanted us to do entertainment for their events. So we started doing that. That turned into a full-fledged business that I was running at the end of school and then into my post-school. And then the DJing took off. So I became a DJ in a bunch of different places. And so I started to focus on that a little bit more because I was actually making more from the DJing than I was from the parties. I was doing both at the same time for a bit there. Worked really hard, saved up a bunch of money, wanted to take it to the next level. And I thought, what do rich people do? They have apps, not knowing that that is a pretty nuanced thing to say, oversimplified way to say. So I tried to do an app, maybe spoke to the wrong people, and they said, yeah, go for it. We can do all this app development. So I spent a bunch of money on that. Tried doing that for about a year and a half, 2 years. That didn't work out. It was a good fun, learned a lot, but I ended up shutting that down. And then to repay some of the debt that I had taken, I started doing web design on the side because I'd learned that from the startup. And then that grew into social media, and then that grew into more clients. And then that's how the marketing agency was born. And then that was 2016. So fast forward however many years, 8 years or so to now, and here we are.
2016 doesn't seem like 8 years ago, and I'm only 15.
I know, it's crazy. It's only 10 years ago. Crazy how fast time's going.
It's so strange. Was there a particular moment that inspired Mastered Marketing?
It was, to be honest, it was probably just born out of necessity. So I'd put $100,000 of my own money into the app, and then I'd taken a $100,000 loan. When we decided that it had no longer worked, all that money was gone. So I had to pay it back. So I got an R&D return, which had a little bit of the debt paid, but I had to pay the rest back. So I just started doing it to make money because I was DJing and designing websites on the side. And I really like the marketing. When you do a business, you have to wear a lot of hats. You've got the planning, the finance, the marketing, the sales, the development. Like there's so many different hats. And marketing was the one that I enjoyed the most and was probably the best at. So I was doing it for my own company. And then, as I said, I started doing it on the side, and then that grew. And then I thought, okay, this has potential to be a business. I don't think I was doing it as a business. I was just doing it as a side hustle. And then it turned into a business. So yeah, it came from just needing to pay off a debt and turned into what it is now.
That's great. So what's the purpose of Mastered Marketing?
The purpose of it's probably changed a little bit over the years, but at the moment it's helping good local businesses who provide a great service to their customers become better known. Because like we don't work with anyone who's unethical, so we don't work with any industries like any fossil fuel or gambling or tobacco or alcohol companies or anything like that. We're a certified B Corp. It means we meet the highest level of social and environmental ethics. So it takes quite a long time to get it, but it basically means that we're legally required to do certain things. So what we found, the best way for us to contribute to the community is to help other great local businesses who do a good job. And then we also donate $1,000 a month to environmental and animal welfare charities. So we can do good by helping other people who do good, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's not
really
always
cool.
going to be saving puppies and putting out fires and stuff. I tried that and I found that it's not as practical. It's easier said than done. And sometimes we'd work with a charity and it was like really poorly run, and they were just using the funds for all sorts of strange stuff. So I realized that these other local businesses who provide a great service, I would argue doing a better job, if that makes sense.
And the more local they are, they're probably more connected to the community. So that's kind of a faster payback to whatever area they're in.
Yeah, and we work with a lot of companies that we literally will go and see. We work with a lot of Brisbane-based companies because we're in Brisbane. So it feels good to be helping out the locals.
Yeah, it's great. How do you maintain that inspiration while running Mastered Marketing?
I think seeing them get results and seeing their business grow is really exciting. So if we can help them get more patients in or be more busy or open up a second location, like 2 of our clients have been able to open up a second location with our help, which is really exciting. And that makes us feel really good because there's a lot of marketing agencies who just do stuff and send you a big invoice at the end of the month. And then the client's left feeling, I don't really know what we did, but I don't understand it. So I guess I'll trust it. We don't like that. There's a lot of marketers out there who are kind of not shady, but they pull the wool over your eyes with fancy words to just hope that they lull you into thinking that they're on top of it when it's really not the case. So we like to measure our success by how our clients growing. So seeing them grow is really rewarding for us. And then it makes us excited to think, what else could we do? What other businesses could we help, and so on. So I guess staying to that mission of giving good businesses a good service, it happens all the time. Like every time a lead comes in, we get excited. So again, it's just seeing the fruits of our labor, but in the context of that's one more opportunity for the client to grow. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's great. What is it like running your business?
That's a tough one. I mean, it's good is the short answer. I like it because we all work from home. We've tried offices and co-working spaces, but no one ever comes in, and it's kind of just waste money for us. We've got a team of about 10 people and they all work from home. I personally really like it because, I like working from home. I like the convenience, but it's also, we can then pass the savings on to the client. So you're not paying for our fancy office and my big fancy chair. But yeah, it's a tough one to answer in one sentence, but I really like it. It's great. I'm personally involved with most projects. So a lot of agencies, they might have hundreds of clients. We only take on like 20 to 30 at a time. So we're personally involved with each client. So that's good. But yeah, I work with my wife, which is also really cool. And she's amazing. So it's a tough one to answer in sort of one sentence.
It doesn't have to be one sentence. I'll take anything at this point.
I was actually thinking about that today of what I'm doing that's normal to me that's probably different to someone else and vice versa. I was actually talking to someone the other day about what is work? Does work just mean you're doing something that has some sort of commercial value that is contributing to some other thing, like helping to deliver a product or a service that someone else is going to pay for? Because you see a lot of people say they work 12-hour days or 3-hour days or 16-hour days. And it's like, what is work? Because you can just do stuff, but that doesn't mean that it's productive or helpful in any way. Like I could spend all day just doing stuff that is not really moving the business forward or something that someone else could do. So it's hard to say what actually defines work. And I don't know my point with that. It's philosophical, but it just helps me figure out what am I doing and what should people be doing especially if you own a business, you need to be doing things that help move the business forward. Because if you're just stuck updating spreadsheets and documents, someone else could probably do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I suppose work has to be beneficial to whatever the purpose is of the business.
Yeah. And it sounds oversimplified, but if you think, what is the purpose of the business? A purpose of a business is to make money by providing a product that helps someone else. So as the business owner, most of your time should be towards those things, either making more money with marketing and sales and getting customers in, or making the product better so that the person buying it is happy and they receive more value from it than it costs them so that they can grow and you can grow. And I think that is what you should be focusing your time on as a business owner.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. How would a potential client get in contact with you?
Most clients normally give me a call or shoot me an email. We do get a lot of referrals, which is good because it means we're providing a good service. So most of our business comes from referrals. I will say that I'm currently working on a system an outreach system or marketing system to bring in cold clients, because I think if you want to grow in a predictable and consistent way, referrals don't really do that, because referrals are random. They're great and you want them, but they're random. Whereas if you want something that's consistent, you need something like paid ads or SEO and cold outreach and that type of thing. So currently they just give us a call based on a referral, or they saw us online or saw a post, but I'm currently in the process of doing something a little bit more predictable.
Nice. Yeah. Referrals really up and down, because I used to do markets and we'd have people coming in and I'd be telling my friend all about it. It looked like I was busy, tried my best to make it look like I was, and they'd be telling people, but whether those people would actually show up and then actually buy something, or even if they were actually telling people, because I'm like, can you please tell people that I'm at this market this weekend? And they're like, maybe, thank you. That's so great.
You basically just described the failure of my second companies because it looked good. And everybody was like, yeah, it's really cool. But when it comes to actually paying for something, or that's essentially what you have to do with the business, is you have to make sure, will someone pay for this? And is there a market big enough so that having all those people pay for it creates a viable business? Because if you just have people saying, yeah, it's really cool, they're just being polite. If you say, hey, I've got this idea, here it is, they'll go, oh, yeah, cool, love it. But it's like, will you pay for it? Probably not. Why not? Let's figure out why that is. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs fail because they get caught up in confirmation bias, or they ask guided questions that are pushing someone towards just giving them a compliment as opposed to figuring out, does this actually solve a problem that is worthy of charging for a solution? If that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you ask anybody that's too close to you, they're just going to be like really nice or just
100%.
rooting you on. And people will do it, like they'll tell you that it's absolutely amazing, even though they don't think it is, just to see where you go and just to see if it's like, going to be funny. And like some people would actually want you to succeed, but there's also people that go, oh, let's see if we can make a joke out of this one.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a book for people who are like first getting started and they want to do some sort of software product or new business. There's a book called The Mum Test by Robert Fitzpatrick, something about like how to find out if customers want your product when everyone's lying to you. And it's about how to ask the right questions so that you're not just getting compliments and, oh yeah, it looks really cool, but not actual customers.
Yeah. And it's like hard to ask those questions without hearing like the feedback, or at least not knowing what it is. Do you have any advice for a young aspiring entrepreneur?
I'm trying to think of there's so many things I would have done differently, but at the same time, if I had done them differently, I wouldn't have ended up here. I think the number one thing I always say to people is validate your idea before you go and spend a bunch of time and money on it. So what I just said, you don't want to just do something, a couple of your mates say it sounds cool, then you invest a whole bunch of money into it and time and effort and all the stuff, and then you launch it and find out that it's not really what customers actually want. And it's all totally avoidable. A lot of people, they want to create the thing and then find customers for it. You want to do it the other way around. So find out if people would be willing to pay for this thing, make a really quick prototype, and it can be literally like mock-ups, or it can be something that's really simple to put together, and see if people would pay for it and start figuring out what they would actually want before you go and spend a whole bunch of time and money on it, which is what most people do, including myself. That's what I did. So you want to validate first. That would be the biggest thing for an entrepreneur, especially if you're young and ambitious and perhaps haven't been kicked in the balls from life yet. You want to make sure that, okay, because that was me. I was young, ambitious. I could do anything. Oh yeah, we'll figure it out. Like it was just whatever, because reality hadn't really sunk in yet. So yeah, probably some avoidable things there. I think also talk to the right people and have a good network, especially when you're young. You can be a little bit maybe too trusting, or a bit too naive, or a bit too excited really quickly when someone tells you something. So if you have an idea and there's a developer who goes, oh man, yeah, we could build that. You could do this, that. And you go, oh yeah, great. This is sounding really cool. Let's do it. They might just be trying to get a contract of it. So it's really hard. And I had this problem too, because you're just so exciting. When you're young and when you get older, you can go, okay, I'm getting the vibes from this person and I need someone to run ideas through. Had I asked the right people feedback on that original concept, I perhaps would have not gone ahead with it and saved myself a bunch of money. So yeah, have a good network. It doesn't even have to be like a big network. It can be just like 2 or 3 people that you trust. It's great if they have business experience. They don't have to. They could just be, people that you look up to who know you and know that you might jump in the deep end with something that you probably should pause first. It's really good to have some people around you that want the best for you.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. The whole purpose of the Youngpreneur Society is to help other people, because I started out making scrunchies. Nobody wants scrunchies. Not even I wanted scrunchies. So I want to help people because I wanted to run a business, because my parents have their own businesses. They had like 7 at the time I was starting. So I was like, I want to do that too. I had no idea what I want to do. So I want to help like young kids figure out what they want to do, how they want to do it, and show them that this is what you can do and this is how you can do it. So that's kind of the purpose of the podcast, because you get people on here and they share their stories, and then, you get inspired. And
yeah, I think a really helpful thing is to read books, watch videos, take mini courses, try and figure out what you're interested in and like what industries you're interested in, but also what your strengths are, because some people might be really good. They might be really analytical. So they're really good at seeing trends and doing data. And so something like data analysis or financial markets or something around like money or numbers and algorithms and math can be really good for them. Whereas for me, that would be terrible. I'm more creative and visual. So I think it's helpful to figure out and try lots of different things. Like I know I don't love math because I did a bit of it. Now you just want to write yourself off, but like get a feel for what you might be good at. Then just read a lot of books. There's some really good practical books out there. It depends what lane you want to go in. If you want to go down the software route, which can be really profitable and exciting and fun to do, there's books like The Lean Startup and Nail It and Scale It and Running Lean and all sorts of fun books that will really help you with that. And if you do that and realize I don't like software at all, this is super boring, I want to go and do a service thing, or I want to go do bake pastries or something, I want to do whatever, try and just figure out what you have an interest in. A lot of people spend like $100,000 to figure that out at uni and then go, I don't actually like this. And now I'm stuck with this degree that I either have to abandon or commit to and be sad because I've come this far. So I think reading books is a much faster way to figure out what you might like. So that's a big one. There's so much information out there that it's such a different challenge these days where you could possibly need, but it's overwhelming because you don't know where to start and what to look at, and everything's conflicting, especially when you've got social media influencers who are just roasting everything. Like, you should do this. And then this other guy goes, oh, if you're doing that, you're an idiot. It's really frustrating. You don't know which one to actually do. But I think if I would start there, read books or watch videos if you don't like to read, and just get a feel for what you might be interested in.
Yeah, and books will always be there. They'll always be sitting on the shelf. You can go back to it.
Yeah, like there's people who've done exactly what you want to do and have just laid it all out for you. And you just gotta read it.
I had a Butcher's book and I was like, thank you. Love that so much. Yeah. This is
so
everything
helpful.
I need to do.
You will get to a point perhaps where you go, okay, I'm going to stop reading for a bit and focus a bit on like implementing some of this stuff. So that way you're not just perpetually consuming stuff. Also, ChatGPT is really helpful for brainstorming and problem solving. Let's say I like this. I'm a creative person. I love basketball. And I also like software. I would love to explore what are the kind of things that I could maybe look at. I don't want a job. I want to start a business. So what could I do for this? And okay, here's some ideas. Yeah, okay, cool. It's like having Superman as your best friend who's just ready to help. Yeah. It's crazy.
And like with school, because I know we were always taught, get a degree or go to TAFE. And so it's so great because you do have to ask yourself questions of, do I want to do this? Should I actually get into this? And because you might think you want something. And I do this all the time. I think I want everything. It just seems nice.
And that's a question, these type of questions. What might I like? It floats around in your head forever. Whereas if you just ask ChatGPT, it will spit out something and it'll just get that ball kind of rolling and you'll go, oh, okay, what about this? And then you talk to it and then you can just go back and forth and you can explore those thoughts in more detail by asking it a question. Whereas before, I can't imagine having ChatGPT when I was first getting started. Oh my gosh, it would have been so helpful. It's so helpful for brainstorming and problem solving as well, not just like help me write an Instagram post. It's what's the best way to tackle this? How should I do this? I'm thinking about this, but I'm not sure about that. And it can just be so incredibly helpful. I just checked the name of it. There's a book called $1 Million Weekend. It's a bit of a clickbaity name by Noah Kagan, but I've always really loved his stuff. He's really big on simplicity and he's literally got this book and it's like how to start like a business in a weekend. It's very kind of hackathon type thing, but it might be worth, he just released it like a couple of last months ago. Do you know who he is?
No, I just Googled it. My Google's really fast. It knows what I like.
Yeah. He made Sumo and a bunch of other stuff, but AppSumo is like the software company that gives you deals on other companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he created that and helped do Mint.com. And he was like the 13th employee at Facebook or something. So he's got heaps of experience and a really good YouTube channel. And I've always found his stuff is real like straight to the point.
Yeah.
That's what I would do as well as I was young. I would watch Noah Kagan's YouTube. I would watch Alex Hormozi's YouTube. You've probably seen him online. He's really good. And just even those two, because they do heaps of videos on, if I was just getting started, I would do this. If I wanted to make $1 million, I would do this. If I was like thinking about this, I would do this. And it's so incredibly practical. So just consume as much as you can.
Yeah. The first 22 pages of $1 Million Weekend looks good because I've just got it up here.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go buy that. I feel like I should have known him.
Yeah, Noah Kagan is this strange gem that doesn't seem to just get noticed as much as other people, but I find his stuff so helpful. And then even just his branding, like my personal brand is inspired largely by him, which is just real concise, conversational, personal, not jargony and too fancy. So yeah, I think he's just this guy that people skip over. I don't know. And then Alex Hormozi came out of nowhere, but Alex Hormozi is really good. He's like the new Gary Vee. So that's fascinating because like when I was your age, he was the guy. Now it's other people. I hope some of that was helpful. I was interviewing people when I was a little bit older than you, a little bit older, but same sort of thing. I just wanted to help entrepreneurs, help my friends. And yeah, sometimes I had a list of questions and I didn't know which ones I should do and which ones I shouldn't, or I had too many or not enough. I think digging on like interesting things that someone has said is really good.
Yeah. And I was like, It's so good because I always think I have to go back to these questions, and you're like my third interview ever, probably my fourth, because I did a Sesame Street interview when I was like 18 months old, but that's different.
Cool.
I don't have that memory anymore, but yeah, I like the fact that whoever's listening to this podcast will be able to see the fact that I'm not doing like as good as other people will be, because it's like I'll watch people and it's like, how are you doing that so good? So I'm wanting some kid to be watching this, and I get, I'm a kid too, but like some kid to be watching this and going, actually, it's okay because I'm only like 15, 16, 17 and she's not doing it perfectly. So
you don't have to be a rock star from day one.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks at skateboarding at the start, and then you just got to get better, and then you get better quickly, and then you all of a sudden, you're awesome.
Yeah. And maybe someday people can watch the growth from like the first episode that comes out to the next one.
Well, come back on when you're blown up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was really great talking to you.
Love what you're doing. It's good to see you getting started so early, and it's awesome that your parents have lots of businesses, so you're in good hands.
Yeah.
Awesome. You have a good week. If you have any other questions or bits and pieces you need, or names of any books I've mentioned, let me know and I'll shoot them through.
I'll probably just listen to it again.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you again to Mitch Hills for joining me on this episode of the Youngpreneur Society podcast. I'm sure our listeners have taken away a lot of lessons and insights from his entrepreneurial journey. If you want to check out his work, please visit masteredmarketing.com. I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in to our episode. I hope to see you again next time.
Thank you for listening to the Youngpreneurs podcast. Like this episode? Remember to subscribe and leave us a review. And join us in the Youngpreneur Society, a community for young entrepreneurs to explore the world of business. youngpreneursociety.com